Welcome to Oakville, Ontario, the site of the 2023 President's Cup Championship inside the beautiful Toronto Rock Athletic Centre. We have day number one action just about ready to get going. The Oakville Rock taking on the Six Nations Rivermen in a rematch of the Ontario Series Lacrosse Finals. But before we get to that, we have the opening ceremonies here at the track, and we'll send it down to PA announcer Mike Hancock.
Good evening and welcome to Oakville and the Toronto Rock Athletic Centre and the 2023 President's Cup. For those that have never been to the track, we're a 24/7, 365 days a year of lacrosse here. We're a two-pad indoor facility with an outdoor turf field, along with the Toronto Rock Lacrosse Shop, the dynamic athlete training center, and the newly opened Toronto Rock Sports Medicine and Wellness Center. The track truly provides a complete lacrosse experience, not to mention also being home to the day-to-day business operations of the six-time NLL champion Toronto Rock. Thank you, Pam. We talk about growing the game and often use the phrase that lacrosse lives here at the track. However, with everything the track offers here in Ontario, we can truly say this is where lacrosse grows. Needless to say, we need to give a big thank you to the man with the vision and passion for everything here around us, and that's the guy we all call boss around here, your host of the week, JVI. At this time, I'd like to introduce some of the dignitaries that are here with us in attendance this evening. First, our referee-in-chief for the tournament, Mr. Dale Sett. Our lacrosse game convener for the 2023 President's Cup, Mr. Frank Morris. I'll now turn the microphone over to Frank for a few words to open the tournament.
Hello everybody, and welcome to this year's President's Cup. First of all, I'd like to thank all the volunteers that came out here to help us make a success. Without their work, it wouldn't happen. I'd like to thank all the referees for traveling across Canada and same as the team. Thanks for coming out. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the tournament. Thank you.
Next, please welcome local MP for Oakville North and Burlington, Pam Damon.
I want to start that by just saying, Paul, as we know, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Ottawa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. I'd also like to acknowledge the negative impact colonization has had on Indigenous peoples here in our country. From over-incarceration of Indigenous peoples in the criminal justice system and the over-representation of Indigenous kids in care. And I want to thank those who are here today who are Indigenous for the creative game. To all the teams who've made it this far, who fought hard, and you're now ready to compete for the President's Cup. Thank you to JVI and everyone here at the track for bringing this tournament to Oakville. We're really proud to host in our community and showcase such a high level of this amazing game of lacrosse. I also want to give a shout out to the Burlington Blades, who last night won the Minto Cup, the first Burlington team to ever do so. I also have a certificate I'd like to on behalf of the Government of Canada on the occasion of the official opening ceremony of the 2023 President's Cup, and thank you to the track for hosting. So on behalf of everyone and the House of Commons, the Prime Minister, and MP Anita Onan, I just wanted to send my very best to everyone who's playing here today.
I'd now like to introduce the mayor of all the people of the town of Oakville,
you very much. It's my great pleasure to wish the Oakville Rock luck in the 5 o'clock game and to congratulate the Huskies and the Pioneers on their success so far in this tournament. I know that all the businesses in Oakville and all of our hotels are grateful for any attention you may give them while you're here enjoying this lacrosse tournament. I hope everybody has a great time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President. The Strongwater Singers is an Indigenous-led women's drum group that utilizes drumming as a means to achieve wellness and balance. One of the main focuses of the group is decolonizing and redefining sisterhood, with the emphasis being placed on reclaiming traditional ideologies of our original teachings: love, truth, humility, respect, bravery, honesty, and wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the Strongwater Singers. Oakville, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations. From the lands of the Anishinaabe to the Attawandaron and Haudenosaunee, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in First Nations history. As we gather today on the sacred lands of Treaties 14 and 22, we are in solidarity with Indigenous brothers and sisters to honor and respect Mother Earth, the original nations of the trees and plants, the four-legged, the flyers, the fin, and the crawlers as the original stewards of Mother Earth. We acknowledge and give gratitude to the waters for being life and being sacred and the carriers of those water teachings to females. We acknowledge and give gratitude for the wisdom of the grandfathers and the four winds that carry the spirits of our ancestors who walked this land before us. The town of Oakville is located on the treaty lands of the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, and we acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the treaty holders, for being stewards of this traditional territory. Marching in the Canadian flag for today's opening ceremony for the Royal Canadian Navy's Hamilton Unit HNCS Star, please welcome Acting Sub-Lieutenant Michael Samuels. And now, please rise if you're able. Remove your hats and welcome country music reporting star from right here in Oakville, Paige Rutledge, to perform the American and Canadian national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous skies o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
We now have our dignitaries head to center floor, and we would ask Six Nations Captain Rod Squire and Oakville Captain Bill Hostrauser to please join them for tonight's ceremonial face-off.
Good
Good evening from Oakville, Ontario, as we bring you inside the track here as President's Cup is officially underway. The opening ceremony is just wrapping up, and game number 3 of the Prezi about to get started here between Oakville and Six Nations. It's Jay Kelly, it's Pat Gregoire with you. Patty, good to finally get to call a game with you, and we're set for a good one here between Oakville and Six Nations as day number 1 at the President's Cup is officially a go.
I don't think we could have asked for a better matchup for our first game calling together. It's a rematch of the Ontario Series Finals. We know that these two teams certainly don't like each other. There's a lot of respect between the two squads, though. Oakville getting the better 2-1, but you gotta wonder, did Six Nations in Oakville, did they leave a little left in the tank knowing that they already punched their ticket to the President's?
Yeah, I don't think either team probably showed their full deck of cards leading up here to the President's Cup. But like you mentioned, two teams that are obviously very familiar with each other, and I think that can be a good thing for both these teams coming into this first game to kind of get the jitters, the nerves out of the way. A lot of these players have played in big lacrosse games over their careers, but there's nothing quite like the President's Cup. It's a long week here. It's a grind. I fully consider this to be the hardest championship to win in Canadian box lacrosse. And you can ask the Ladner Pioneers, who are the defending champions. They're back here again and talking to all those guys afterwards, saying that they had never been through a week like they had been at the President's Cup, as they sneak out a win in their first game over, a very good minors team that has won a bunch of President's Cup themselves, as the Muskies got past Tuscarora earlier today as well. And now we turn our attention to Oakville and Six Nations. The Rock and Rivermen blow the whistle. Let's play some President's Cup lacrosse as we are at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center and right at center floor here. And we appreciate you joining us on JVI on the YouTube channel, as it'll be the Rivermen that get first possession here. As we'll get you some scratches here momentarily as well. But it's Six Nations on the attack with Lane Smith. Big-bodied left-hander with a swim move and then a pick on the back. As Callum Jones got knocked down, and Oakville will get the ball as Q comes storming off the bench. Here's Lanchberry following up. He'll get a bouncer. And Dustin Hill, I think he's going by Dusty now, actually. He changed it on the roster. Last year it was Dustin Hill. This year he's going with Dusty, Pat. I don't mind it.
I like it. I love it, actually.
Well, his first stop, there's a shot wide as Nick Rose gets the start here for the Rock, as you would expect for the Toronto Rock netminder, also the Oakville Rock netminder.
That's one thing that's going to be huge here in this tournament. The display of elite goaltending. We're going to be treated to quite the tournament.
Oh, man, we got some good ones. We'll probably start with Del Bianco out of Ladner. You got Cam McLeod for the Miners. You got Nicky Daymood for the Muskies. The list goes on here. And with the Lacrosse Canada rules, a little smaller nets, so goals may be a little tougher to come by here at the President's Cup, as well as you got no back over, no 8-second call. You got the cylinder rule for the crease. We're going backwards a little bit as far as the rules go, but that's the way they play it here at the Prezi. And we'll have to adjust just as the officials and the players will as well. Scoreless here, just a minute and a half in. As Six Nations back to work. As Winter Rivera had that one knocked away. 10 on the shot clock. And fire over the top right off the mask there of Nick Rose. That one off the stick of Elijah Brown. They will get the reset. And I'll have a chance to work a full 30. As I want to send out a quick congratulations to the Burlington Blaze, who won the Minto Cup last night in Edmonton. Danny Mack, Creppy, and the boys, their first Minto Cup in their franchise history. And I know they had quite the celebration in Edmonton last night, and it's probably still going.
Hey, no doubt about that. I'm sure there's a few Burlington boys watching this game. Oakville, obviously, a lot of ties to that Chiefs team, so could be possibly a big couple of weeks here for Burlington and Oakville.
Speaking of Six Nations, they will make their way west in early September to play for the Man Cup. Who they will play is undecided yet, as the Salmon Bellies staved off elimination last night in Game 6, as that series going to a deciding Game 7 on Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's been an unbelievable series. You've got a pretty good look at it, but just
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I called the first 6 games. I'm missing Game 7 to be here at the President's Cup, but I wouldn't change it for the world here. And we'll get back for the Mann Cup, so all is not lost. But, yeah, we'll be tuned into that Game 7 for sure. As coming up later tonight, we have one more game for you on day 1, as the Muskies will play 2 here on day 1. And I think, Pat, as we might get a good chance here from Sheldon Burns, as he'll be cut off, but I think, every team, still transition here maybe, as Dalek will work deep corner, but if you're going to play or have to play 2 games in one day, day 1 is the time to do it.
No doubt. I think that is 100% the right play. It's the most favorable. You've still got your fresh legs. The only thing that's a challenge, if you drop 0-2, you now get starting to chase. But
they won their first game, so if they get the split here, I think they'll be satisfied. But they're going to be, that's their arch rivals there in the Kahnawake Mohawks.
Yes.
So they're going to want to win that one, as will the Mohawks. And pretty star-laden roster there for Kahnawake, as well as a lead feed here for Lanchbury, just out of his reach. As they'll try and run it down in the corner here, but swooping in for that loose ball was Justin Martin, one of the longtime Rivermen players. And now we get some contact in behind the play. And that'll be a possession call there, as maybe just a little bit of a message sender from Jake Kranz, who didn't like the contact on his teammate. So Oakville will get set up. And Andrew Q, what a playoff he has had, and was lights out in that deciding Game 3 for Oakville, as they won that series 2-1 and claimed the Ontario Series championship. Shot over the top, and Hill with a shoulder save, and now we'll get our first power play of the game, and it will go to the Rock, as we'll see who's off to the penalty box here for Six Nations. It looks like 21, Marcus Elvin, the guilty party.
You mentioned Q, over 100 points, career high for him with Georgia this past summer, and it seems like that heater has just continued. He didn't lead the Rock in scoring, but I think in these tournaments, that's where he's going to bring his best ball.
Lanchbury will be the quarterback. You got Dowick and Q on the shooters, as Dowick will set a little screen for Lanchbury. The double into the middle, room to fire, and Hill fights it off and just keeps that one out. As the lead feed here up quickly, and shorthanded opportunity for Martin. Just slipping away from him as he was in behind everybody. But no damage done, as the Rock still with a minute and a half to work with here in the man advantage. Well, hidden ball trick. It's with Dowick, and now into the corner here for Danny Lintner. Another familiar NOL name for this Rock team. As Dowick will work to the crease now. He'll switch spots. Up top, Lanchbury over the shoulder. Here's Dowick. Look out. That went right off the captain Squire's helmet as he readjusts his face mask after taking a rocket. And Oakville will keep possession here with Q. Looks towards the goal, hit the post. And this one will ricochet all the way down here to Nick Rose. Lots of time to work with, 45 seconds in fact, in this opening man advantage in this scoreless game here on day 1. The first contest for both the Rivermen and the Rock. Lanchbury fires, and that one wide on the short side this time. A foot race for the loose ball. Nice handle there. As Williams had his pocket picked by Q. But following up was Williams, and he'll save the possession here for Six Nations. Nice, Pat, you kind of just got in midday as well. I should let the people know I'm working about off a 2-hour sleep here. Caught a flight early this morning after calling that Game 6 in the WLA last night. And we still got one to go here, so a lot of coffee will be consumed over the next few hours here at the track.
Over the next week.
Yes.
You talk about how it's a grind for the players. It's a grind for the broadcasters, too. Come on now.
3 games on tap tomorrow, including the early one. I don't know who was making the schedule this week, Pat, but they scheduled 2 late ones, and then we got the 3 early tomorrow. Here comes Lintner in behind the cooker. Q right back in front and unable to pull the trigger there. Maybe it was. Luke Robinson didn't take the opportunity, but a chance here. Oh, that one hit the shaft of Hill. And we remain scoreless as the Rock pressuring here. Out shooting the Rivermen 7-3, but the game still searching for its first goals. Lintner across the crease and looks short. Another chance there wide from Robinson. As the Rock really pressuring here to get the first goal of the game.
Yeah, this is the offense that you're used to seeing with Oakville. They're a high volume, high chance type of team. Now we're starting to see that rhythm come.
Quick feed up, in behind everybody. Corkscrew shot, and Rose with his best stop of the period so far. This ball might get away, and back to Six Nations it'll go. There's a quick turnover there on Oakville. There's Curtis Woodland. Out for a shift here. Rivera. And that shot denied as Oakville away with the pill. A lead feed. Adam J. BC boy who's transplanted here to Ontario. But maybe not for long, as he's going to be in Saskatchewan this upcoming winter. And I don't know, maybe he's going to move to the prairies for a winter. Good luck if you're doing that. Buy a coat. A good one.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do on that back end of Saskatchewan. A little more opportunities. You know, the Rocks' defense is jam-logged with stars.
Saskatchewan Shamrocks.
It's pretty much turning into that right now, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, really. Keenan's no dummy, though. He knows what he's doing. Up it comes to the captain, Billy Hostrauser. Right down the middle, and Billy going to look for a shot, gets one, and Hill ready for that one, makes the shoulder save.
That's one thing this Oakville team's not afraid to do is push in transition. They really like getting their defenders up and joining the rush. They try to grind you down with their speed and their athleticism.
There's Elijah Brown. Off to Curtis Woodland. Still searching for the first one of this game here as we approach the halfway mark of the period. And a bit of a chop there, shed off by Jay. And the offense back to work here for Oakville. 9-4 your shots on goal. Jason Knox will set the pick for Q. Comes near side, and Lintner was in behind everybody. Couldn't bring in the feed. And the Rivermen will scoop up. So I mentioned Ladner gets past the Miners of Edmonton 10-9 in what looked to be a fantastic lacrosse game just prior to this one. As the Muskies and Tomahawks kicked off the tournament this morning. And the Muskies with a 3-goal victory, 10-7 the final for the Three Nations representative. There's 7 teams here at the President's Cup this year. The 2 Ontario teams that you're watching right now, the BC representative Ladner, the Alberta representative, the Miners. Three Nations, you got the Snake Island Muskies, Can-Am, the Tuscarora Tomahawks. What a name that is.
Oh, yeah. Pesky Club, really like what I saw from them this morning.
Kahnawake Mohawks are here as well. Always a fixture, as are the Rivermen for the most part at the President's Cup. Usually the Rivermen win their way in, but with it being in Ontario, 2 teams get in, and the Rivermen are back in the Prezi once again. And such an advantage for a team that comes here year after year. They know how to prepare. They know how to get through the week, what it's going to take to win. And that's a real big advantage for a new team, say like in Oakville, that, yeah, they got a lot of star players and what have you, but they've never been through a week like this, and it's going to be a culture shock for them.
Yeah, I think it is a war of attrition, really, and these teams that have been there, the Miners, you look at this team, like the River, they have been here. They've been battle-tested. They know that it's a game-by-game approach. You can't just give it all in every single game. Like, you have to save your spots. You have to pick your chances.
You got to rest guys. You got to do all these types of things and you know, take care of your body after the game, before the game, as Q works in. It's a little slip pick, sub shot right on. As little whip, Dylan Watson wearing 22 here for the Rock. As Woody out on the floor here for the Rivermen. We'll see a bunch of those this week, I'm sure. It's the Rivermen back to offense here with 8:15 to go in this scoreless period between the Rock and the Rivermen. Big hello to everybody back on Six Nations watching this one. It's pretty good defense there from Mazuka. And a shot clock violation here on Six Nations. As it's interesting, Pat, you know, watching from afar from the West Coast, when you watch games from the ILA on Six Nations, of course the Chiefs and the Arrows, the Junior A and the Senior A, but it's always the Rebels and the Rivermen that draw the big crowds at the ILA.
They get unbelievable support from the community. The Rebels game gets absolutely rocking in the playoffs.
Long feet up. Here's the chance. Right in. It looked like a check in the back, but we'll go by the wayside. There's a good opportunity there for Corbett, denied by Rose.
I think Jones might have got away with that. Callum Jones, if you're an NLL fan, pay attention to that guy right there. Top prospect in this year's draft.
Watson on the drive. The reaching shot there comes right to Lynchbury. He'll whip it down to the crease to Lintner. Right back, give and go off the crossbar. And the Rock will get another possession here with Marley Angus. Good opportunity there, but we remain score. 13 minutes in, Pat Gregoire. I want a goal. And another one rockets right off the crossbar and out of play.
You look at all the studs offensively on both sides. It's remarkable that we haven't seen a goal yet. That just goes to speak to the goaltending and the defense.
Watson, who can really rip. Doesn't shoot this time. Here's Dowek, and that one blocked. Good stick in the lane. Rock hang on to the possession. Lanchbury weaving in. Oh, scores. There it is. Found the 7-hole on the glove hand side of Hill. And Ryan Lanchbury opens the scoring here for Oakville.
Well, if you knew or had to guess who was going to open up the scoring, it's probably the guy that had 87 points this year for the Rock. Lanchbury had a little bit of a struggle to start his NLL career. Maybe not what we expected, but as the season progressed, he got better and better, took that confidence he learned from the pro game and rolled right into one of the best offensive seasons we've seen in Ontario, and that is just a pure goal scorer's goal right there.
And I will say, you know, for this Oakville Rock team, there were other studs and stars available to Jamie Dowek and Matt Sawyer to be on this team, but they really took an approach of they wanted to develop the guys that were kind of on the fringe, guys earlier in their NLL careers, to develop them this Senior B season, knowing that they'd be playing in the President's Cup, and to get them at that experience to continue to develop. So, you know, a lot of talent on this Oakville team, but I think there was a little bit more at their disposal, but they chose the path that they did.
Yeah, kudos to them for doing that, and I think that's
smart.
It's smart. You can see the culture is built here with everyone having a team-first mentality. It's not really, you know, a guy just show up whenever he wants. Okay, get ready.
Full buy-in, right? For
it's
this Oakville
total
team.
buy-in.
Everybody's at practice. Everybody's working hard, and the other thing, take it a step further for Matt Sawyer, learning his systems here in Senior B will translate over into NLL camp, and it won't be a new learning process for a lot of these guys as well. Foot race for this one, and it's picked up quickly here by Martin. He's got Dowek to beat. Martin will hang on to this one as he's got the offensive player trapped back on defense. Martin been around this team for a long time here. Still trying to get inside. Double team comes, kicks it off, drive down the middle, lost the handle. And ball will go to the end wall here and be picked up by Oakville.
Love that hustle play by Dowek. He gets back in reverse transition, stops the scoring opportunity, but then he also plays a real nice hard shift of defense. Those are the little things that we know he can put the ball in the net. We know he's a smart player. It's those little things that he's learning this summer to make him a well-rounded player.
Jason Knox makes the turn across the top. He'll find his man near side here. And Robinson, he'll shovel in front of the goal, and it rolls into the crease of Hill. As we still just sit at 1-0 here as we go under 5 minutes to go in this first period. This is Rivera. Well, hidden ball trick still with 76. Now it's 97, Jason Goddard. Long shot, big chance, and Squire denied. Excuse me, that was Elijah Brown on top of the crease there. As the Rivermen press for the tying goal. Another leg pad stop from Nick Rose. Friendly bounce here potentially for Burns. Slows down on the turf here a little bit. He'll hit the trailer Q. Look out. Oh, good save there for Hill as he threw out an elbow to stop Andrew Q. Back the other way we go. This is Rod Squire. Feeds into the middle. weaving right in there and looked like he stepped in the crease. Referee right on the scene says no. So the possession will continue here for Six Nations. As Woodland can't get it through Rose, who will lob up here from a knee. And a chance to run on to this one for Callum Jones. As he'll give off to Lanchbury. Look out, here comes the double. Lanchbury will keep the feet moving. Gives it to Dowick, swing it wide for Q. 10 on the shot clock, Q inside. Look out, a hard hit coming across from Martin, and a clean one at that. As he'll pop right back up. As Watson got laid out. Welcome to the Prezi. There's a shot off the post. And oftentimes, Pat, you see a hit like that in a game like this, it's instant fight time. But I like the fact that I think Oakville recognized that was a nice, good, clean hit.
Yep.
Watson, okay, pop right back up, and we play on.
Yeah, exactly. And let's be honest here. You can't afford having a top player out for 5 minutes serving a penalty, and all the offensive guys are out there. I think in these tournaments, every time you can have your superstars on the floor, you got to have them there.
And every time you get an opportunity to crack somebody like that cleanly, you're going to take it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't kid yourself. These Six Nations Rivermen know Billy Hostrauser is patrolling the back end here for the Rock.
Taking some notes, figuring out.
And if I had to be a gambling man, Pat, I would say at some point this week the mitts will come flying off for 28 and white.
Yep.
Shot over the top, right on, and Hill will soak that one, hang on to the rebound as well as Martin off to the races here quickly again. Maybe a 2-on-1. In comes Martin, shoots and scores! Had Rose cheating off his short side pipe just a little bit, but he picked the top corner. And we're tied up at 1.
The beautiful transition goal here from Martin. Big stop from Hill, and down comes the other end. Look, you see right there, you mentioned that. Finds Rose leaning a little left, puts it right over that right shoulder. An absolute tuck from the defender.
Bar down. So, 2:05 here to go in the first period. 1-1 now. Shots on goal, 19-11 Rock. Here in this opening game for these two teams. Don't forget, Kahnawake and Snake Island come up at 8 o'clock Eastern time here. You can watch it free of charge on the JVI YouTube channel. President's Cup lacrosse all week long here from Oakville, courtesy of JVI, and free of charge. That's what you want, Patty.
Free
Everybody's
lacrosse.
going to be watching.
Free lacrosse, best 2 words in the world.
I'll go with it. There's Dowick who balled with a pass. And the Rivermen want to push tempo once again. It's something I've kind of noticed here early in this first period. Well, we're late in the first period now, Pat, but good tempo from the Rivermen. They really want to push up floor quickly.
Yeah, the second period's going to be interesting with that long change, but I think both teams are going to take some chances in transition.
Good defense on the far side. Still gets a shot off. And sends it to the back of the goal. I believe it was Rivera who got it to go. And Six Nations just like that. 2 quick ones. They're in front now, 2-1.
Remember the name Winter Rivera. This guy is still junior eligible. Played for Six Nations Rebels. Tore it up, 96 points. Fell just short of an Ontario championship with the Rebels. Gets an opportunity here with the Rivermen. He's playing against grown men. He is not shied away at all. He is a special talent.
Possession here for the Rivermen after the goal. Look out. Hard check thrown by Jay. Then he got tripped up. No call, and I'm not sure why, but here's a bit of a makeup job on a minor interference. So no penalty, but they'll get possession. I don't know. Did you get the officials for tonight's game, Patty? I did not get that information passed to me. I don't know if you did or not.
I did not either. We'll make sure we get them.
Okay. Gotta give a little recognition to the boys in black. And then we can rip them that way, too, if they do something silly. Here's Q with 8 on the shot clock from long range right in on Hill. And he's got that one as again he looks to outlet quickly. He's got a man in behind everybody. Bring it in one-handed. Here's the chance. Brooker Muir Mason Kaminga wearing Brooke Amir's old number 52 from last year. I just took a guess and I was wrong there, Pat.
Well,
Kind of looked like him.
Number 52, big body going down the floor. How could you not think it's him? But Kaminga, a guy who's played some games with the senior A team as well, the Chiefs, but now he's getting a good opportunity being a top guy for the Rivermen.
Now I think about Brooker might have wore 56 last year. Here's Q, another high shot. That one kind of floated. As the shot clock was winding down, as the period is winding down, as you hear the buzzer sound to end the opening frame here of game number 3 on day number 1. Oakville got out to the 1-0 lead, but 2 quick goals from the Rivermen will give them the 1-goal lead after 1 period of play. We'll take a 10-minute break here on the JVI Sports Network and be back to the President's Cup in Oakville in 10 minutes' time. Stick around. Welcome back to the Prezi in Oakville. Jake Elliott, Pat Gregoire with you. Thanks to Rachel, our producer here tonight. Producer or director? I always get those two mixed up. We got it. 2-1, Six Nations after 20 minutes of play. So apparently we're going to get a look at some, quote-unquote, physical play here, Pat Gregoire, in that opening period.
That huge hit there we just saw. That's as clean and as hard as an open hit you'll see in the modern game of lacrosse. We don't get to see that too often, but just perfectly executed there. And like you said, gloves weren't dropped. Bygones were bygones.
Yes, indeed. Just saying, we got a lot of lacrosse royalty in the house here. Panther City is in the house in full effect. Bob Hamley, Steve Toll. Blow the whistle, let's play some lacrosse. Cornfield's here. Jamie Dalek is patrolling around his building. And it's only going to get busier as the week moves along here. That's the other thing, Pat. Like, we all know about the Junior A stars and the fringe guys in Senior A. You can find some real talent here at the President's Cup, and there's always seems to be 2, 3, 4 guys that come away from this tournament that end up with an NLL tryout after having a good showing here at the President's Cup as Denton Miller finds twine, and it's 3-1 Six Nations.
Denton Miller, one of the mainstays here with the Rivermen. That's just simple in and out of the stick. A great release from Miller. Great ball movement. Don't look now, but the Rivermen grab a 2-1 lead, and they are really holding the momentum here early in the second.
I'm trying to think why Denton Miller's name sounds familiar to me, Pat. Did he have a little cup of coffee in the NLL at one point?
I'll have to check my notes. I think he's been to a couple of camps.
Yeah, I don't know. That name just kind of... Here he is again. Could be a different Denton Miller. He looks bigger than the one I remember.
Yeah, Denton Miller, I know he's played a long time here with the Rivermen.
Chance from the wing, and that shot goes off a leg into the corner. As if you're just joining us late, Oakville in white, Six Nations in black. It's Jake Elliott, Pat Gregoire with you here in Oakville for the Prezi. We'll have the next one coming up for you as well, as the Muskies will play their second game of the day as they'll take on the Kahnawake Mohawks at 8 p.m. Eastern. As I know lots of people tuned in here to the JVI YouTube channel as Danny Lindner is tuned in with his stick as he finds back of the goal there past Hill, and Oakville responds, and it's back to a 1-goal lead.
Quick strike here for the Rock to get back on the horse here.
I don't know what it is about Dan Lindner, but I just love watching him play.
Well, he's
very unique.
He is. He's undersized, but he's not afraid to go to the middle. And how many goals have you seen Lindner score from the outside? Probably not many. It's always on top of the crease. He's crashing to the dirty areas. He really is a unique style of player, and it doesn't matter if he's playing here for the Rock, playing for Saskatchewan, or even when he played for the Toronto Rock. He's just that hard-nosed spark plug that you need on offense.
Fun to watch. Dan Lindner, Mantle Cup champ with Whitby. What a team that was back, I want to say 2013,
Yeah,
Patty?
Wagon, absolute wagon.
Go back and look at that roster and how many guys are in the Pro League now off of that team. My goodness.
Well, you mentioned it earlier about the experience at this tournament. The Rock, not a ton of it, but they have experience at other championships with the Minto, with the Man.
There's a chance inside potentially as Robinson had it jarred free. Q will pick up, and time to work here on the shot clock for the Rock. 13, in fact, as Angus had his shot deterred, and that one sails out of play. As the end zone seating pretty full here at the track. I'm wondering what you got to do to get an invitation up into the upper suites there where JD's hanging out with a few people up there. That's a restricted access,
yes.
I would say, Patty.
Yeah, I don't know if our lanyards can get us in there. We might need a special invite.
Test that out maybe after this game. We'll see. We're having Subway after the game, and they're probably having steak and lobster.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Beautiful facility here, though, at the track.
I'm trying to remember. I think the last time I was here was back in 2012, 2013, when the Minnesota Swarm had their training camp here. And, man, the changes and the upgrades and just the evolution of it all, the new turf down in behind us as well. Just a fantastic facility here in Oakville. And Jamie Dowick, man, the lacrosse center here in Ontario, really. Rose with a stop from a bad angle.
It's a lacrosse hub, and you look at that Burlington team that won last night. Well, a lot of guys came through this building, whether they're training, playing in the Rock Elite League. Like, now you're seeing the fruits of the labor that this building was built for.
Chance here, and good save there for Hill off the quick release from Watson. That's his specialty there. As Q looks for his shot now, and got a stick high, got the pass off. Dowick slicing through, shot it wide as it'll come out near center. And Martin, who's got one of the 3 goals here for Six Nations, will pull up across the line. Remember, no back over, no 8-second call here at the President's Cup. And we haven't really seen that play a factor here yet, but when we get into late games and it's a 1 or a 2 goal game, we'll see teams start to have slow clears and what have you. What a stop there for Rose, as it looked like he was out of the play. We'll get a back in call here and a good push back in there from Goddard to get another possession here for Six Nations. But we will see the game slow down from time to time without that 8-second call. And, man, another one right off the bucket there, and undeterred once again. Taking a shot right from point-blank range off your helmet does not feel good. No,
we've seen a lot of defenders soak some shots here. As the weeks progress, those bumps, those bruises are going to collect even more.
A bit of a drop here as they'll get it back, though. Will Corbett. And they'll pass this one off to Goddard. And then he had it stripped. Ostrauser digging away. It's Jones who will secure the possession here. And Oakville trying to tie up this game as we approach 5 minutes into the second. Look out, little turf monster action there as Lynchbury went down on his own accord. And Six Nations back up with the ball and a lead feed across center quickly. You mentioned the second period with the long change here. Let's watch the transition game here in this second period from Six Nations. Definitely looked like the team that wanted to run more in the first. And again, we talk about the long week here at the President's Cup. I know this is your first one here, Pat. Sometimes the run and gun will be okay in the early going in the week. We'll see so much of that later in the week as guys settle in.
No doubt about that. You got to pick and choose your spots. It's just tough to get that out of a team that likes to play fast like both these do. It's going to take a while, but that's how you have to learn. You have to recognize that it can't be run and gun all week long or you're going to run out of gas.
Yeah, well, and don't forget, injuries will play a factor, fatigue, and sometimes the team that is in the best shape coming into this tournament will be one of the teams that's the most successful. Here's Watson back the other way quickly, looking for a man coming off the bench. It's a 3-on-2. Watson took the shot. Now Lynchbury on a spinner as he missed the target. Look out as Hostrauser took a run at Martin. And he knocked him down. I think he knew exactly what he was doing there.
Yep.
Just a hit that'll pay dividends later on in the game and the week.
Yeah, that's
when the bill train comes through, you know it.
Yeah, that train wasn't stopping for anything there.
3-2 Rivermen. Maybe a chance here. And Goddard denied down low by Rose. This is McKenna. Finds the man off the bench. High shot, hit the crossbar. As Luke Robinson had a good look. That's a few posts now for Oakville in this game here through just over a period of play. Feet high. Angus. Now Lynchbury. No feet off. Cutter's going through. On a step back, hits Robinson again. And Justin Hill's been pretty sharp to start this one. Has just allowed 2 goals on 25 shots.
Yeah, remarkable. And it's not just the quantity, it's the quality of saves too. He has been strong.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Georgia Swarm property.
Yes.
As he'll work his way into a backup role, you would think, behind Dobson this coming season. There's a bounce shot to the short side, and rising up for that one is Kearney. He'll push ahead. He's got bodies coming. On the wrong side of the floor is Burns. Hits the trailer. Dowick has a look. And Hill, another pad stop. And a confident one at that. Dalton Solver, who I believe is on the move this coming season as well. So I rack my brain, but I don't think re-signed for Solver. Long lollipop feed here as Lanchbury will try and run under it. Hill will look out, empty rack, and oh man. Chris Weir with a glorious opportunity. I don't know if he just took his eye off it or what. He had a yawning cage to tuck that one into and just didn't make the catch.
Yeah, he's frustrated, headed back to the bench. What a play by Lanchbury to get that ball back.
Stomp from Rose. Look like back in. No call. Here we go. It's Mizuka, and he dropped one. This game a little scrambly here in the middle stages of period 2. Sub shot scores. Well, when you're going back and forth like that, sooner or later, one is going to end up in the net. And that time, it was Lane Smith who blows it past Rose, and the 2-goal lead restored for the Rivermen.
Yeah, Lane Smith just with an absolute cannon. Such a sharp shooter. He's a big body.
He's the thick with a couple of C's on the end there,
a few
Patty.
C's there. But he's got some finesse to his game as well. He's such a fun player to watch. Always got a big smile on his face, the Toronto Beaches product. He really is going to be a big part of this offense for Six Nations if they're going to have success here.
Ooh, this duel between Hanser and Corbett. We're going on about 20 seconds on the face-off here. And Lacrosse Canada rules, there's not supposed to be a clamp pad. You're supposed to just draw straight back. Not the case there. And I don't think that's going to be called here very consistently all tournament long. They're just going to let the boys duel in the small circle. Win it however you can. Chance there, and Hill will stop, and I would probably say the same will go for the crease calls as well. Here comes another chance in transition. Solver, and Rose looking behind him, but did well enough to keep that one out. Close call there, as McKenna will pick it up. He'll move into the middle of the floor, and off the bench comes Robinson. Here's Watson to Q. 16 on the clock, Andrew Q. Lanchbury. Quick feed, Watson, and he likes to shoot from the outside right in that area. Didn't get the good release off there, and Hill able to stop that one rather easily.
I know Oakville has a ton of athletes out the back door, and they like to push, but I think the run and gun certainly favors more Six Nations. I think Oakville wants more offensive touches. Get the ball into Q's stick. Get Lanchbury involved. When they take those chances or cause those turnovers, you kind of lose the funk, or you get into a funk for the offense.
Riverman looking for a penalty call. Rose protecting against the dunk, and I'm not sure what just happened there. That did not go the way that I think Rivera was planning. Just kind of threw the ball out in front of the goal. This is Jamison Dilks who will make the change. Of course, big brother Ryan will be in my hometown for the upcoming season. Looking forward to the swordsman in a Warriors jersey, Pat Gregoire.
Yeah, that will be a lot. That defense is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
A couple other Warriors at the President's Cup as well. As Q delivers a shot off ball. And each official just kind of turns their head away from that. We did get the officials, Patty. You got the list right there. Marcus Fisher.
Kyle Kennery and Sean Grenier is the standby official in between the penalty boxes there, you can see.
It's not a bad gig for a referee. Just get paid to stand in the penalty box. Under 9 we go here in the second period. Rivermen have tightened up the shot totals, and they have the 2-goal lead as Rose gives up a big rebound. It's cleaned up here by the Rock. And they want to push tempo this time as Lanchbury off the bench, 2-on-1. Chance right in, and the shot a little left to be desired there from McKenna as it hits Hill right in the logo.
Yeah, he's going to hear that one coming back to the bench. Anytime a defender looks off your leading scorer and you don't cash in,
well,
be hearing that kangaroo court.
You give him a warm-up shot right to the belly pad. Yeah. It's, you're going to hear about it for sure. It's a Riverman with possession. As As we approach 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, which, just so you know, is 9 o'clock for me right now, Pat. Give me a long night here. As Lanchbury threw the crease and was going to be first to touch the ball, they'll blow that one down.
Again, another turnover by Oakville. This, again, just takes the momentum that you're trying to build with your offense, getting less and less touches for your big guns.
Well, you know Matty Sawyer wants the boys to run the system here a little bit too offensively.
Yes.
And they just haven't really done that here in the second period. And I think you're right. I think they're kind of playing into the hands of the Rivermen. I mean, sure, you want to take your transition opportunities when they present themselves. But if it's a little scrabbly back and forth, your defense is getting taxed here a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong, even if you don't score, with just working a 30. Here's Watson off the wall. Dowick gives it right back in a prime-time shooting zone there for Watson. Couldn't bring in the low pass. And here's Martin on the go again. Got a man off the bench. It's Martin. And I don't think that one touched Rose. It did not. And here we go back the other way. I mean, it has been some pretty free-flowing lacrosse at the track here in this one so far. Mind you, just a 4-2 game as the goaltenders have been sharp. Lanchbury a bouncer. And Hill. Well, now we got a penalty call coming. And it's going to go to the Rivermen. And player complaining that, well, it's Marcus Elvin saying that it was Q's own stick that made contact with him. I'm not sure if we'll get a replay of that or not, Patty, but regardless, it's going to be a 2-minute power play or less here for Oakville as they try and cut this lead in half once again. Trailing by 2 here. Lanchbury, the quarterback. Q. And Dowick over on that righty shooter. He's got it now. Here's Q around a screen. Loads it up. Feed off to Dowick. He'll pull the trigger and shoot it wide. As Angus will pick it up off the corner boards. You got Lintner parked down on that far crease. It's Q with the sidearm. Hill with the stop and no rebound available. As it's caught up in the leg pad there. It's a bit of a loose kneecap on Hill's equipment. Trapping that ball. Might be intentional, who knows. And a chance to kill off some time now for the Rivermen. It's Elijah Brown who had it dislodged, and Oakville get the ball back here pretty quickly. And I think a power play goal would go a long way here for Oakville to try and get their confidence going a little bit, just sitting on 2 goals here, and you know they're not happy with that. But if they can execute on the 5-on-4, it might just give their team a little juice. As Watson, the underhand release that time, and Hill no trouble with that. Martin, the quick outlet, and he's across center. There is a 10-second count while you're shorthanded to get across the center line. Or is it the restraining line here, Patty? I should know that. I think it's the second restraining line here, tight to the face-off dot.
Correct.
To get it up inside the zone while you're shorthanded. Then you cannot bring it back out. Once you're in there, there's a long drive easily handled by Nick Rose. Jay, one more here to Q, and still 25 seconds to work with here on the power play. Opening game for these two teams as the Muskies and Pioneers winners earlier today. Watson, Q. Lintner, back to Q. Had room, didn't take it, now darts into the middle. He'll feed off. Pass wasn't great. Lanchbury will take it. And again, another confident stop from Dusty Hill. Again, there's a guy that's been here at the President's Cup before, and he knows what he's in for here in Oakville, and he's looking pretty sharp to start this tournament.
30 saves already, and we're not even out of the second period. He has been sharp.
I think we might have an open door down in the corner here that's allowing a few rays of sunshine blasting through to the turf, and the officials blow play down, and they want that door closed immediately. There you go. I wouldn't mind a little fresh air in here.
That would be all right. It's starting to get a little spicy at the track, isn't it?
You just wait. Rivermen kill off the penalty, remain up 2 goals. 4-2 your score with 4.5 here to go in the second. Goes around a screen, shovel feed, one more in front. Beautiful pass there. And how about that ball movement from Six Nations?
Wow.
There's some guys that have some chemistry together, to say the least.
Not nearly as many games played in the National Lacrosse League as this offense for Oakville, but they have just so many dynamic offensive pieces for the Rivermen. Like you said, a lot of guys playing a lot of lacrosse together.
Well, that'll get you a long ways. Here's a good look. Scores! Robinson finally gets it to go. Just having that know where your teammates are going to be and expecting passes that maybe other players wouldn't expect. And that just comes from years and years and years of friendship and being teammates and playing games and practices. You play that long together with the same people, having that cohesion and chemistry will take you a long way in this game, and Six Nations definitely has that in bucket loads.
And that's what Oakville's trying to do. Two guys right there in Dowick and Robinson connecting on the two-man game. Those are two cornerstone pieces this team hopes to build for the future. Robinson, I don't know, we don't have individual shots, but he have had to have at least 4 or 5.
I think more than that, Pat. He's had a couple of posts and a bunch of good looks on goal. Finally gets one to go here, and Oakville claw themselves back within one once again as Dowick will pick up another assist here. So we'll get you some leading point getters after this second period as well as they're updating the stats on the fly. Maybe, Patty, you're working the color side. You can go to work on that if you want.
You got it.
As a battle for a loose ball in front of the goal is won by Oakville as they'll get it loose and they'll bring it ahead. As the Rivermen retreat on defense here, and Oakville will get set up offensively. Blanchbury into the corner for Lindner. Had to reach out for that one. He'll work top side. 10 on the shot clock. Hard power move in, and a good look there. Quick release from Jason Knox. Denied by Hills. He turns it out of play, and do we have another penalty call coming? I believe we do. Six Nations going back to the penalty box. Maybe some little. Yeah, it's 56. It's Mason Hill that will have a seat.
He's going to get a hold there. Another big opportunity for Oakville to continue to get that cohesion going on offense.
A few liberties with the Woody there for Hill. And we'll keep a tight rein on that here on day one. Blanchbury skip feed. Littner will take it off the corner boards. Downwick with it now. Blanchbury sub shot. That one hit a leg, and you can hear the soak off the skin there. It does not feel good. That'll leave a mark, as they say. Here's Q. Blanchbury one more time. Down to the crease. And no, they're going to wave it off on Angus, saying came after the shot clock. And you tell me, Pat Gregoire, I don't know.
I thought that was good.
Bang, bang play. It will not count. It remains 4-3. And Oakville will remain on the power play.
Gorgeous feed to Angus.
Now the extra pass there, and made no mistake, but a 1/10 of a second too late, if it was. 5 on the shot clock now. Spinning shot there off the stick of Rose, and he'll reach out. Such an efficient goaltender as Nick Rose. Doesn't move a whole lot between those pipes, but his angles are always on point and just doesn't allow the bad goal.
And then you give him a little bit of a smaller net, a bigger stick in between his legs. Like, it is
Tough sled.
Summer ball. He is real tough to beat.
Very similar to a Frankie Chiliano, I would say, out west. Right? You give him the Woody and the WA nets, and man, just look at the numbers on Frankie through the summer, just off the charts. Blanchbury on the flip. Good stick in the lane there to knock that one free from Eric Martin. Now he's got a man going to the goal here. It's Silver. Scores! Transition goal for the Rivermen. Dalton Silver finds the 5-hole. And it's back to a 2-goal lead, and that's a shorty on top of that, Greggy.
Huge momentum swing just when we thought Oakville was starting to build something here. It's a really costly turnover on that behind the back pass. Instead, Martin, who's had a great game so far for the Rivermen, knocks it down, gets in transition, and finds the NLO champ in Dalton Sulver, who cashes in.
Emphatic Selly after that one, as well as Corbett goes back to work in the face-off dot here for Six Nations, and he'll win it right to the captain, Squire. And how long has Rod Squire been playing here for the Rivermen? Somebody get at us at PXP for Sports or at P. Greggy. Let us know, how many years has Rod Squire been playing here for the Rivermen? How many President's Cup has that guy been in? As we'll see Joe Hall later tonight for the Muskies, who I think is attending, I want to say, Pat, his like 16th or 17th
Yeah,
President's Cup.
Nuts.
Legend. Not playing as much as he did in his heyday, obviously. Nope. Might even get a scratch here from time to time, but the fact that he is still playing is just incredible. Here's a chance for Lindner, who tried to quick stick it, and he missed it. And now a bouncing ball, trying to run onto it. Good back check there by Chris Weir, and what are they going to call? Is this the too many men maybe on Oakville? Oh, they're going to call timeout, with just 9 seconds to go in the period. So they'll have to go about 185 feet here, but under 10 seconds to do it. But you can't take the timeout to the locker room with you, so you might as well. So good opening 40 minutes here for Six Nations, I would say, against the defending Ontario champs, who are obviously playing on their home floor here at the track. And they have the 2-goal lead. But a late one here for Oakville, I think, would go a long way for them. But this big possession here to end this period.
Massive, and I know it's definitely not make or break, especially if you saw what happened with the game just before this with Ladner and Edmonton. You know, anything can happen in that third period, but just from a momentum standpoint, from a confidence standpoint, and I know there's a lot of guys on that floor right now that don't lack confidence with the type of shooters that they have, but a goal would be such a big momentum shift for Oakville to go into the locker room and say, all right, guys, we're down one. You know, the offense isn't clicking. It's not where we know it can be. Let's turn it on for the third period. Let's get back on a horse. Let's get going.
So Knox will be the man to run it ahead. 9.2 on the clock. Empty net for the Rock, as Hill taking his sweet time getting back between his pipes. I'm always a fan of the goalies that like to jog it back to the goal. You know, a little hustle. A little hustle. Here we go. Knox will run it to center as it hits 5 as he crosses. He'll come right down the middle. A pass off Lanchbury. Little tuck. He'll feed off to Q. Got the shot off. And it was stopped by Hill as we're at the end of 2 periods of play here. Rock out shooting the Rivermen 35-30, but it's the Rivermen outscoring the Rock by a score of 5-3. 40 minutes down and 20 to go here in game 1 for these two teams. This is the third game of the day, however, and it's got 20 minutes to go in it. Take a 10-minute break, come back and join us for third period action here on the JVI Sports Network. Welcome back to the President's Cup here in Oakville, Ontario. We are at the Toronto Rock Athletic Centre. It's Jake Elliott, it's Pat Gregoire with you with 40 minutes down and 20 minutes to go in this one. With the Six Nations Rivermen leading the Oakville Rock 5-3. And Patty, what are you seeing on your screen right here?
That is Kyle Kennery getting the call right. As you can see that shot clock. We were wrong. I thought it was for sure a goal. But as you can see there, the ball not in the net before.
Just going to lump me in like that and say we were wrong.
Hey,
like that.
okay. I thought you were on my side.
I thought it was right now.
I thought you were on my side.
We're a team up here. We're a team. I thought it was blow the whistle. Let's play some lacrosse, by the way. I thought it was in too, but officials right here. So we got to give those guys some credit when they get it right. So Oakville starts the period down 2 here as we start the period 5-on-5. 35-30 your shots on goal. As look out. I think that was a pass intended for Lanchbury, and he had no idea it was coming.
I think that's one stick that Oakville wants to get going, whether it's tonight or at some point in the tournament. Is Knox, the big body, the big lefty, Panther City draft pick from this year. He is such a big, skilled forward.
We mentioned Panther City is out in full force here.
Yes.
Toller, Hammer, Cornfield all here. We got Brucey Cott, assistant coach of the Toronto Rock in the house. Dingo, Troy Cordingly, is hanging out over there as well. He'll be coaching the women's box lacrosse team for Team Canada coming up.
Was in Utica a couple weeks ago.
You were, great job back there.
Thank
with the
you.
You were grinding back there.
It was.
You told me you called 7 games in one day. I said that's impossible, and you said no, check it out. And 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. one after the other. There's something I've never done in my broadcasting career. Getting on a flight at 6 o'clock in the morning from the west to the east is one thing, but calling 7 in a row, that's next level stuff right there.
It was a bit of a grind, but it was great. And what I was going to say is that's going to be the site of the World Championship. That facility
is
beautiful.
Like? Nice.
It's beautiful. Multi-pads, and they didn't even use the main bowl, which will be used for, I'm assuming, the Canada, U.S., and Haudenosaunee games.
Sure.
Fits about 5,000, 6,000 fans in there. It's the AHL building they have there.
Well, we better do a good job this week, Pat. Maybe
so.
we get on the list.
I think that's a great plan.
Start rubbing shoulders with the right people potentially here. Here's a chance for Linder. Oh, the setup from Dowick, the finish from Denny. And it's a 1-goal game.
4 assists now for Dowick. As we'll see the 2-man game just played to perfection.
Yeah, this is how you want to run a pick and roll right here. Watch this.
Linder.
Get a little push off.
Creates just enough space, fakes, far side, goes short side. And again, Danny Linder does not score from the outside, does all his damage on the doorstep.
So 1-goal game once again. As Oakville has been behind since they led 1-0. There's a good face-off win for Brett Hansor. So he'll head for the bench, and Oakville will head for offense. Robinson, who had the 3rd goal of the game here for Oakville, will feed off to Watson. He'll get a pick from Q. He'll look for the double. He'll spin back. He'll load it up. He'll fire, and that one hit a body. As Watson just hasn't been able to find the mark here quite yet, but just a lethal outside shooter.
And he's not just a spot-up shooter. He can shoot on the run. He can shoot overhand, underhand, low to low, low to high.
And you kind of wonder where he learned how to do that. With his dad being a Hall of Fame goaltender, probably taught him, hey, like this is the hardest shot to save. Shoot here, do it this way, because I can never stop these. But, man, Bob Whipper Watson, not too many got past him in his heyday.
No.
I'd like to watch that. Just little whip, shooting on big whip, and to see who wins the battle.
Be a good piece of content right there. I like that idea.
Okay. Mark it down. Rivermen looking to restore their 2-goal lead. That's not going to get it done as Rose will make an easy stop. And a free clear across center here for Adam J. Wearing the number 97. And now it's Littner, a little swim move. Here comes Lookout. Double comes at him. He'll take it in behind the goal. Shovel it free for Angus. Now Dowick with those 4 assists in on every Rock goal so far. Lanchbury with one right on target that Hill was able to steer high. And the Rivermen come away with it.
Talk about all the experience that this Rivermen team has at the President's Cup playing Senior B lacrosse. Their leading or co-leading scorer right now is Winter Rivera, who has the ball right now as a Junior B player.
And a shed off a check there as he gets ridden to the turf. Rivermen want a holding call and a slash on the ground. The Rock come away with it. Got bodies up the floor here. Here's Hostrauser. He's got Q off the bench. But Rivermen are back on defense, so the Rock will set up an offensive possession here as the defenseman will make some changes. As on comes Jason Knox. Knox will slide in just outside the dot circle, whips it past to Lanchbury, who put one right off the crossbar looking short side. And he had a little room there as Hill wasn't expecting that shot, and then shafted there was Andrew Q as it hit the butt end of Hill. And that's why you like those big wooden goal sticks right there. That just saved one for Hill. And nothing more frustrating as a shooter when you get it past the goaltender and you hit the butt end of the goal stick. And look out here. What do we got? Penalty call's coming. And I think it's going to be Knox that's going to go. And I think the Rivermen were feeling like they had one coming their way, and they finally get one here from the officials.
We'll get a look right here.
Keep an eye on 6 in the middle of your screen. Right. I just missed it out of our camera shot there.
And Knox is arguing that the defender for Six Nations was holding his stick.
And one of the great things about being here at the track, we're across from the benches, right at mid-floor. The fans are kind of below us, but we're sitting right over the glass here, almost on top of the turf, and you can literally hear the chatter down on the turf, which is a little unique to a lot of arenas. You don't kind of get to hear the game within the game, but you do hear at the track, which is really great as a broadcaster. You can hear the officials talking to the players. You can hear the coaches across the floor. You can hear the guys talking on defense as well. Don't forget, Kahnawake, the Mohawks will take on the Muskies coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern time. As the Ladner Pioneers with a 1-goal victory, the defending champions. With 10-9 victory over the Miners. There's a late chance there after the 30 shot clock expired for Lindner. And the Muskies open up with a 10-7 victory over the Tuscarora Tomahawks, the Can-Am champs, to open up their President Cup run. As you'd have to say, Pat, a 7-game series win for the Muskies over the Akwesasne Bucks, who had themselves a loaded roster. And I don't know what the payroll was for that roster, Patty, but the fact that the Muskies got past the Bucks and did it in 7, and very unique where both teams play out of the same arena, of course. What a series that must have been, and the Muskies just found a way to get here to the President's Cup.
Yeah, you got to feel like that is huge for the confidence, considering pretty much everyone outside of that locker room thought the Bucks were going to just mosey their way to the President's Cup. You mentioned all the stars on that lineup, but they find a way, they grind through it. Now they get here and they say, why not us? Why can't we win a President's Cup?
First off, that might be the first time I've heard the word mosey on a broadcast, which I truly appreciate. Underutilized word right there in mosey. But I would say the same thing for Tuscarora, the Tomahawks, who got past Allegheny, who I think were head and shoulders kind of the favorite to come out of Can-Am. But when the playoffs came around, the Tomahawks heated up.
Yep.
And they find themselves here at the President's Cup as well.
They're a fun team to watch, really young, really pesky. A lot of guys that maybe haven't played in the National Lacrosse League yet, but are just knocking on the doorstep, wanting an opportunity. A great coaching staff as well.
Backdoor feed. Ends up in the corner. There's some sticks swinging in behind the play with Adam J. And Goddard back there. And it's a turnover here to Oakville as they'll look to get out of their own zone. And a good run here for McKenna to get across center. As in comes Lanchbury. Trailing by 1 of the Rock. Fire right on. And Littner denied by Hill as the ball comes back into his crease. And he'll launch up here as Martin in behind everybody will battle for that loose ball and come up with it. And you know you'll get some Six Nations Women fans to make the trip up from the Grand River here to Oakville. And I'll tell you, come a little later on in the week, this barn's going to be rocking for the semis, bronze, gold medal games. Good crowd on hand here as it is, but it's only going to get busier and busier here at the track all week long. Hostrauser with a sure-handed loose ball there. And Dowick will settle things down for Oakville. Ashbury's played a lot here in this game. Young legs along with Dowick. There's Knox to Q. The matching blue compressions. He'll fire on the run. Kick stop there for Hill. Good check there from Adam J to free up a possession. And he runs right into traffic. I don't know how he just stayed on his feet there. Wow. That's a part of Jay's game that I think has come a long way, his physical attributes. You know, he's always kind of a tall, skinny, lanky kid. Now he's put some beef on, and the balance and the speed have come along with it.
I think a big reason is this building right here. Everyday training.
Johnny Holmes.
Yes.
Dynamic athlete. I should probably get in there at some point this week, Patty. You got your workout gear with you?
Not right now, but I'll bring my kicks. I'll bring some shorts.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Let's get a little team lift.
Hey, you get a workout from Holmesy, you're going to lose some weight. And what a luxury it is, you know, not only for these Oakville Rock players, but the Toronto Rock players and any real kind of pro lacrosse player around in the Toronto surrounding area to be able to come to this facility, get in a workout, get out on the turf, and just get your work in. Here comes a chance maybe for Oakville. As Chris Weir was tangled up with the body back in the defensive zone. So you can see it's starting to fill up in around behind Dustin Hill now, as Muskies and Mohawks come up later tonight. Hopefully we get some drums banging in here before the week is done as well. Look out, that one out of play. As all of the Toronto Rock banners hang here inside the track, 99, 2000, 02, 03, 05, and 2011 their last. And the jerseys of Doyle, Watson, Veltman, T, of course, and Les Bartley. Speaking of T, his son Josh will be coaching the Muskies, as he did last year at the President's Cup, along with Galiwade Mitchell.
Some impressive coaching staffs across. We know how talented the players are, and boy, there's not one coaching staff that doesn't lack experience at this tournament.
Feet in front, nobody home. And look out. On the pounce is Justin Martin. Gonna try one from a bad angle. Look for that short side top corner again, and didn't miss by much. But it remains 5-4 as we go under 9 minutes to play here. 8.5. It's been a quick moving game, if you ask me.
It has.
And Lanchbury slip inside. Lintner was in behind, but it's Q that'll pick it up. Lots of time to work with here on the shot clock. Andrew Q. Kick it high. Watson. There's the release. Hit the body. Gets his own ball back. All sorts of room, and he missed the goal that time. Oh, they're going to wind the shot clock, saying that hit Hill. Watson again. Fake it. Drive it. And into traffic. Ball will come loose. One more here to Q. Somehow grab that. And then off the elbow of Hill, who might have made his best stop of this game right there off Andrew Q. In tight, and a sharp shooting Andrew Q denied from close range. Lanchbury now. He's got a lane underneath if he wants it. A little hezzy move. Q fires quickly off a stick. Rebound chance for Lintner. Tried to stuff it short side. And Dusty Hill across in time to hug the post. And then the pass was way off the mark, and Oakville will get the ball right back here.
There's no denying Dusty Hill has been sharp, 41 saves, but this defense has forced Oakville to shoot from deep They've been blocking shots, jamming up shooters. They've done a really fine job here this afternoon.
45-34, your shots on goal. Here comes another from Knox, who took a check high. And Hill's got the ball in behind his goal. Thought about the long outlet. He'll go to Martin on the short one instead. And now the ball up the floor as Sherman Williams will make his way to the Riverman bench as on comes the offense. Riley Johnson out for a shift. Danton Miller out here on this near side. Around the screen. This is Lane Smith shooting, and Rose reacted late, but he stopped it. And he's got a man on the go here. This is Chris Weir. Hits the trailer. Watson. And Squire will cut him off, and Watson will wait for the change to take place as Marley Angus comes on. Watson looks towards the goal. He's got Q off the bench. 10 on the shot clock now in the high feed for Dowick. He'll drive underneath Dowick. And he's called in the crease as he got the shot off. Hill stopped it anyways. A good take to the cooker there from Dowick. Couldn't beat the Riverman goaltender. As we approach 6 to go here in this third period. 5-4 Six Nations. As the two Ontario teams kick off their President's Cup tournament. Ball kicked down the floor here and into the Riverman bench. They'll say off an Oakville foot.
Unfortunate bounce from Mazuka. Great defensive play. Strips his man. Tries to just goose it down the floor, but instead punts it right into the Six Nations bench.
A good leg on that thing. A little toe drag here from Rivera as he posts up, looking for a man to dish to. Tried to fire in front, does. And I don't know how he made the catch there, but he did Woodland. But unable to stay out of the crease as Hostrauser will hand off at center to Lanchberg. One more ahead here to Lintner. Look out, lazy pass there, turned over on a good stick from Martin. And you can't be giving away possessions in the third period in a one-goal game like that.
No, that is a rookie mistake from one of your veterans, and Lintner have to know much better than that.
Port Moody bounce pass, Pat Gregoire. Here's our first of the tourney. As Lane Smith will scoop it up. He'll try and shoot a weak one. And look out, trying to evade the crease, and I'm not sure he did, but he'll get the possession here as the shot clock goes off inadvertently. And Oakville will come in 3-on-3 here with Dowick. Rink wide. The drive. Angus put it wide as he got a shot off falling to the turf, but missed the goal. Under 5 to go here in this one. And the Rivermen, I don't know if 5's going to be enough here, but the way these goaltenders are playing, it might be. And I think we'll see, we're going to see some low-scoring games in this tournament. We're going to see some high-scoring games in this tournament. This is just a good old-fashioned goaltending duel. Rivera leans in on his man, fires over the top. Good save for Rose. Big rebound, another stop there for Rosie. And he does that one from a knee. Big time save there for the Rock goaltender. Keeps it a one-goal game. A chance to tie once again here for Oakville. Lintner, Dowick, back to Lintner, outside the dotted circle, feed him from Lynchbury. Whiffed on a quick stick opportunity there as he was poaching on top of the crease. The Rivermen hold on defense once again as we go under 4 minutes. 45-37. Rock out shooting the Rivermen, but they've only got 4 past Hill. The Rivermen have only mustered 5. Start thinking about your players of the game, Pat Gregoire, and the two goaltenders certainly come to mind.
Yeah, there's tough to argue that, especially on Six Nations side. Not only is Hill been stout in between the pipes, he's also got 2 assists, tied for the lead in points.
There you go. It's funny because it's true. 18 on the shot clock. Riley Johnson feeds off. There's another save for Rose. A loose ball to Jamison Dilks and a lead feed to Kearney. Into the middle of the floor. Burns will lob back here for Dowick. And he'll head for the Oakville bench as Q already onto the floor. Stayed in the change box, however. As he's got it now. 10 on the shot clock from well outside, and Squire got a stick on that. They'll dig up the loose ball. Angus missed the target. Another chance. Dowek tested Hill. Another shot there from Watson. And again, his shot has been just a little bit off. Has Dylan Watson. But the Oakville Rock are peppering Dusty Hill right now, trying to tie this game with 2:22 to go in it. Dowek one more time. He's been the setup guy here today. Tried to thread that one through. He's going to get a chance and a goal. And Dusty Hill again just stayed right with him. Calm, cool, collected. And then the outlet here from Martin. Numbers here for the Rivermen, and Martin denied by Nick Rose. Man, you got to have some kind of special shot to beat these goaltenders in this one. No back over, remember, so that's completely okay. And the Rivermen, and you know, I don't want to get off here, Pat, but I mean, the rule changes. What are we doing here playing Lacrosse Canada rules at the President's Cup? These guys are good enough to be playing the new modified NLL rules. It's simple and plain. Just, it's time for everybody. Said I didn't want to get off on a tangent, Pat. I did it anyways.
It was a control. It was a control.
It won't be the last time this week, I'm sure, either. It's just frustrating.
You know, you think of all the athletes you have here.
Minor lacrosse, okay,
of course,
but we're talking big boys here. Q shoots it. Big rebound. Robinson trying to outweigh Hill, who stayed right with another shot from Q, and Hill's got that as well. Remember those two stops from Dusty Hill that just might preserve a victory here for Six Nations. And not that it would spell disaster here for Oakville, but certainly you don't want to get off to the 0-1 start on your home floor.
I don't think the panic button is going to be pushed here if they don't find a way to win here.
No, and it's a long week. And now what do we got? Timeout. Matt Sawyer, Oakville Rock, with 48.7 to go on the clock. And I like the timeout here. You're under a minute. You don't know if you're going to get another possession in this game, so you got to call timeout here, and you got to roll the dice. You're going to pull your goaltender. Shot clock down, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 seconds off it, so they're going to have lots of clock to work with here. But you got to pull your goaltender in this situation down a goal, and you're in the final minute.
And you got to throw the kitchen sink at Dusty Hill. He has been remarkable for Six Nations. We saw those two massive saves. It's hard to narrow it down because how many saves he has made, but those two, and just even, I know he didn't make a save on Robinson there. He played his angle so well. Robinson had no choice. Yeah. He probably should have shot the ball, but he felt he had nothing to shoot at, so he went behind the net looking for a pass.
Yeah, you're right. 45 of 49 shots Dusty Hill has turned away.
Wow.
Like you said, Nick Rose, no slouch either in this one. I mean, he's only allowed 39 shots for Six Nations, but still, it has just been a well goaltended game here by both these guys in Hill and Rose. Here we go, 48 seconds to play. Look out. Almost a giveaway here for Oakville. A well-handled loose ball for Lindner. Will find its way to Andrew Q. Now Lanchbury rips, and Hill a shoulder stop. Loose ball goes to Six Nations. And now they call timeout with 34 seconds to go, so they cannot completely run out this clock, but they can come close to doing it, and if nothing else, leave Oakville with 5-6 seconds left in this game if they can get the ball deep down in the zone. And what do you do here now, Pat Gregoire? If you're Matt Sawyer, you're Oakville, ball will start in the Six Nations zone. So do you keep Rose on the bench and double the ball carrier and leave your net open, or do you try and play it straight up 5-on-5, cause a turnover, and maybe bring your goaltender to the bench then?
If it's me, I probably keep Nick Rose in, and you try to force that turnover with the athletes that you have all over the floor. It looks like, based off what we're seeing.
If they clear and they have the empty net, then the game's over for sure. You got the 4-second differential, which is not a lot of time, but
then you got to, if you do get the ball, then you got to send your goalie. It's too much chaos. I think you got to trust your athletes to cause the turnover.
That's exactly what they'll do here. Hill in the goal. Here comes the double on the ball carrier. Remember, no 8-second count. Trying to run this one out, close to a holding call. He's still got it in his pocket at center. Now the ball is free. Oakville will try and scoop it up here. It's knocked down. Martin had a crack at it. Time ticking down. Ball still loose. Under 13 seconds to go. Oakville will finally get it in a pocket. Maybe one more chance to come here. Got to go to net, and they turn it over. And that's going to do it. Six Nations is going to win this game. As the clock hits zeros, it's just a mad scramble at the end. Callum Jones looking for an open man, threw it away, and the Rivermen run out the clock here to win this one by 1. What a finish.
What a finish, what a game. What a start for the tournament for both these two teams. They saw a lot of each other over the past week and a half in the Ontario Series Finals. But it's Six Nations who comes up victorious in the first game of their President's Cup for 2023, their first President's Cup game, I should say. But man, both goaltenders.
Exceptional. 5-4 your final as the Rock paced 50 shots on target and only get 4 past a red-hot Dusty Hill in this one. As the Rivermen exact a little revenge after losing the OSL final 2-1 to Oakville, get the win here to kick off their President's Cup. And it's all smiles for the boys in black and red here, as handshakes at the end of this one.
I don't know if you can replicate that formula with how well the defense played, how strong Dusty Hill was in between the pipes. But this group, this coaching staff, they know what it takes to win a President's Cup. They know what it takes to go deep here. This Oakville team, very skilled, but you could tell that there was some inexperience with this group when it came down here tonight in the nitty-gritty.
Josh Dowick will be the player of the game for Oakville. I don't mind the selection there from Bar Down Lacrosse Apparel. How do we get one of those hats, Patty?
That's a great
get
question.
The announcer of the game, maybe? No surprise. Dusty Hill, your player of the game here for Six Nations. As he'll shed the bucket, and he'll get a bucket hat here. A little softer than the one he was wearing between the pipes, but matches the uniform nonetheless. And game number 3 on day number 1 is officially in the books. Oakville outshoots Six Nations 50-39, but a 46 save performance from Dusty Hill and the Rivermen come away with the 5-4 victory to go 1-0 to start their tournament. One more game here to go on day number 1. It'll feature the Kahnawake Mohawks, who will play their first as they take on the 1-0 Snake Island Muskies. That's coming up in just over an hour from now here from Oakville at the track. And we'll have it for you on the JVI Sports Network for our entire production crew. For Pat Gregoire, I've been Jake Elliott, and for the fastest game on 2 feet and for the creator, we'll talk to you at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. For Mohawks and Muskies, join us, won't you?
We want to thank our partners for their support of the 2023 President's Cup. Bar Down, Ice River Green Bottle Company, Gatorade, Big Chief Meat Snacks, and the Oakville Pump and Patio. Thank you for your support and helping all the competing teams as they chase the Prezi.